I'd like to begin today's episode with a reading from the automotive history book, the travel-sized version, specifically the chapter covering luxury cars. Once upon a time, a luxury vehicle was measured by its comfort and ease of use. Seats were thickly padded without any semblance of bolstering, and controls were so intuitive that even a ferret could use them. But then one day, BMW came along and ruined it all with its luxury sedans that drove like sports cars and its complicated iDrive infotainment system. Suddenly, every automaker wanted to be like BMW, and the traditional definition of luxury went out the window. But there was one holdout. Toyota refused to give up on the concept of traditional luxury with its Avalon sedan. In a world obsessed with gizmos and dynamism, the Avalon was simply a luxury vehicle. It was easy to use and supremely comfortable. But then at the 2018 Detroit Auto Show, Toyota made a worrying announcement. They were making a new Avalon, and it would have things like an intake sound generator and eTune 3.0 with AppSuite Connect. So has Toyota ruined the new Avalon by going all BMW? Today, we're going to find out.
The new Toyota Avalon. Travel Avalon class.
First, we should talk about exterior design. Toyota's wacky styling has finally made its way to the Avalon, and it's interesting. I'm not sure what the world record is for largest radiator grille in a production vehicle is, but this new Avalon has to be in the running. I mean, look at this thing. It looks like a whale with braces. But if you can just look past this gaping mouth, which I admit's a pretty big ask, the Avalon's actually a pretty good looking vehicle. I like these new headlights that are thinner because they're now all LED. And I think this kind of yin-yang character line is interesting along the side. The Avalon even pulls off this elongated greenhouse, which is 7 inches longer than last year's model. And just check out these really cool turn signals. But if you're not a fan of the Avalon's exterior styling, you can just use one of these 4 doors to escape to Avalon class. Now in here, you'll find simple luxury that, oh dear, a big infotainment screen, a low seating position like a sporty car, a sport button. What has Toyota done with Avalon class? Let's just take a step back. We'll talk about powertrains. I'm sure it's just typical Avalon under here. So let's dive into it. I've got the official specs here from Toyota, so let's get into it. According to Toyota, the 2019 Avalon has a 3.5 liter V6. Okay, that sounds Avalon-y enough. With over 300 horsepower, engine sound enhancement available, paddle shifters with rev matching, adaptive variable suspension. You know what? Let's just get it on the road and see how it drives. So here we are behind the wheel of the 2019 Toyota Avalon. This is the limited model, which is positioned kind of as the luxury trim. And I must say, it does feel luxurious in here. The leather is really soft and supple, and you get it kind of everywhere. It's on the steering wheel, it's on the doors with this nice quilted pattern. The seats even have this kind of cool, funky, random perforation pattern that makes it a little more fun than you'd expect from an Avalon, but it kind of works. I like it. The center stack in this is really high-tech for an Avalon, but it's not overly complicated. Toyota added physical buttons along the side of the touchscreen. It's still got a knob for volume, a knob for tuning. It's got Apple CarPlay for the first time. It's a Toyota first, and that actually makes it a lot easier. I've tried to use this voice recognition for the navigation, and it's honestly pretty bad. But you plug in your iPhone, and Siri does a really good job of understanding what you're saying. And it also gives you a few apps that makes it easy to use. That just increases the overall simplicity of this by adding CarPlay. The steering in this has a lot more weight than I was expecting. I thought it would just be really light. You'd be able to, kind of the 1970s, you can use one finger to turn around. It's actually got some good weight to it. You can tell they're not trying to make it too sporty, but it's got some nice weight to it. You can tell what's going on. The steering's pretty direct. It's got a good on-center feel. The steering is surprisingly good. That's one of the most surprising things about this car, actually. Power's definitely good in this. I mean, you're not going to be wanting for power. 300 horsepower, not the most in the world, but it does get the job done in this. They've done a good job mating this new V6 to the 8-speed auto here. And the 8-speed kind of just shifts in the background. You don't even really notice it, which is perfectly fine for a luxury vehicle. All right, let's put it in sport mode. Doesn't really feel any different. Well, maybe it's just a fake button. That would make sense. Whoa! Well, it wanted to spin the wheels there. It's plenty peppy. It's plenty peppy. Brakes are good too. They feel up to the task of stopping this big car. This still just feels like an Avalon. They have not spoiled the traditional definition of luxury. This is just a big, comfortable car that you can cruise in. It's quiet, it's comfortable, it's capable enough in the corners. This is a car you could just take cross country and get out and still feel refreshed. All that talk about sportiness is kind of just marketing. It just feels comfortable, and in a good way. But a lot of times these days, just comfortable luxury gets a bad name. Everybody wants a sports sedan that's also a luxury car. Some people just want a comfortable luxury car, and that's what this is. It's really good at it.
So there you have it, the 2019 Toyota Avalon. Now, Toyota's added a lot of new high-tech features to this car that sound like they've been ripped right out of a BMW brochure, like a adaptive suspension to make the car feel sportier and a app-suite connected infotainment system. But Toyota hasn't completely abandoned the traditional definition of luxury. This new Avalon is still a big, comfortable sedan that's relatively easy to use. I suspect Toyota had to add all these high-tech features to lure in a younger crowd to showrooms. After all, the Avalon's average buyer age is 66 years old, which means most of them probably aren't on YouTube, which makes this review kind of useless. But if you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe.